Big hello to all of you. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Brinda, and I'm back with another series in the DU JAT IPM Rapid Revision series, where we'll discuss another very important concept with you, which will greatly help you in your, say, spotting the error kind of questions. And in general, it'll improve your spoken English and written English as well. So let's begin. Well, the topic that we'll be covering or looking at today is called parallelism. Now you would say, what is parallelism and why is it important? Well, let me tell you, parallelism is one very basic and sometimes overlooked part of English grammar, which helps you structure your sentence in the right manner. So, if you just look at the word itself, parallelism, that means it keeps the important parts of the sentence parallel to each other and makes it, say, proper. So let's just understand what it is in detail. So it's the repetition of the same grammatical form in two or more parts of the sentence. So for instance, you're planning to use, say, more than one noun or more than one pronoun or adjective or adverb or gerunds, anything for that matter, in your sentence. You need to follow the rules of parallelism to have the structure right. In other words, what is parallelism? It is the art of balancing different parts of a sentence. I guess let's look at some examples to understand this better. Let's just start. Well, if at all you want to place some nouns or more than one nouns in your sentence, now how do you structure it? For example, we drove to the lake, mountains, desert, and beach all day long. So what I've done in the sentence is I've placed all the nouns together in the sentence. See, only the nouns. Sounds simple, right? Well, it is very simple. Let's look at another example. Let's say I want to place some adverbs in the sentence. Now, what are adverbs? Adverbs are those words which tell you more about the verb. In other words, they modify the verb of a sentence. So, the man acted smartly and judiciously. Now, how did the man act? He was smart and he was judicious. Now, the words smartly and judiciously, they have been placed. I've used the word smartly and judiciously. That is both the adverbs in the sentence to maintain a parallel structure. Let's look at another example. Let's say Shreya's views are political, social, and cultural. Now, how are the views? Political, social, and cultural. So, all three adjectives are placed together in one single sentence. If at all you want to place more than one verb in your sentence, see how it will look. Shreya sings and dances. Now, this might sound really simple to you because the sentences have been structured properly. I'll show you some examples where we make mistakes and the structure of the sentence goes haywire. But let's look at these correct sentences first. Now, what if your verb is in past form? That is, we walked, jumped, and skipped on the way. So here, what we have done is, if at all, if you look at the previous sentence, it's Shreya sings and dances. So both the verbs were in present form, simple present form. And if you look at the second one, which says we jumped, walked, and skipped on the way. So all the three verbs that I've used in the sentence, they are all three of them are in simple past form. So again, this is a very good example of a parallel structure where whatever part of speech has been used, it has been used really consistently. Let's look at another example. Now, if at all we were to use gerunds in the sentence, so it should look like this. Say Shreya likes singing and dancing. Now you will say, ma'am, I know what are verbs, I know what are adjectives, and I even know what are adverbs and nouns, but what are gerunds? Or for that matter, what are infinitives, which is used in the next example, which is Shreya was advised to weep and to rejoice with others. Now, before I take you further and explain the concept of parallelism more or in detail, there are one or two aspects that I'd like to discuss with you. All right, let's see. So let's just understand what are gerunds and infinitives. Before that, I would want you to help me identify verbs in this exercise. This one says, he ate a burnt bread. Would you like to try and tell me what is the verb in the sentence? He ate a burnt bread. Identify the verb for me. Well, let me tell you. The verb in this sentence is ate. And there's another word which looks like a verb, which is, but it is not, burnt. So, what? I mean, the word that shows action in the sentence is just ate. The word burnt only tells us it only modifies the word bread. It tells us more about the word bread. How was the bread? It was burnt. So, there's just one verb in the sentence, which is ate. There's another one. To walk is a good exercise. Well, in this sentence, to walk is the name of an activity, is a good exercise. This is the verb of the sentence, and this is the name of an activity or an exercise, which is walking. Walking is a good exercise. Well, it's the same thing written in a different manner, a bit different manner, I'd say. Again, walking is not a verb in the sentence, it's just the name of an activity. The verb of the sentence is is. This is just the noun of the sentence because it's the name of an exercise. Now, the next sentence. He wants to climb a mountain. Now, what does he want to do? He wants to climb a mountain. The verb in this sentence is want. To climb the mountain is not the verb of the sentence. It's in fact the subject, I mean, the noun here in the sentence. Now, look at this sentence. He climbed a mountain. Do you see the difference in the two sentences? Here, climbed is the verb of the sentence. Now, let me explain why certain words which look like verbs do not are not verbs in these sentences. Why did I call them the subject of the sentence or the name of an activity? Let's just look at these. Well, there's something called infinitive in English language. Now, these are nothing but non-finite verbs. Now, let's just look at them. Now, these are non-finite verbs because they are not working like a verb in the sentence anymore. They do not show the action. They just show the intent to act in these sentences. Let's understand with the help of an example. Now, let's say my sentence is she likes to sing. Now, what does she like to do? Well, she likes to sing. Let's say if I were to change the tense of this sentence, let's say I want to change this sentence to its past form, I would have said she liked to sing. Now see, the verb changes the form. You can change the tense of the sentence, but the infinitive, that is to sing, which is made up of a verb but doesn't work like a verb anymore, will not get affected. Now the infinitives are not limited by the subject of the sentence. Now let's see how this works. We hope to win the match. Now, what do we hope? This is the verb of the sentence, to win the match. This is the infinitive in the sentence. Now, there's another one. To forgive is difficult. Now, to forgive is not the verb in the sentence. The verb here is. Now, what is difficult? To forgive. The act of forgiving is difficult. So, infinitives, they work like the nouns of the sentence, they are no longer working like the verb in a sentence. Now, there's another one. I saw tears come to her eyes. Now, what did I see? Tears come to her eyes. Let's just try and change the tense of this sentence. See, I can see tears come to her eyes. I will see tears come to her eyes. So, infinitives, they are made up of verbs, but they do not work like verbs anymore, right? That's what infinitive is all about. Now, the gerund. Gerund again is made up of a verb. When you add ing to the verb, it works like a gerund. But these again are not the verbs of the sentence, they work like the noun of a sentence. For example, she likes singing. What does she like? Which is the verb of the sentence, singing, the name of the activity. Walking is a good exercise. Now, walking is just the name of an activity, which is made up of walk plus ing, is a good exercise. She has completed the washing. Now, what has she completed? Has completed is the verb of the sentence. Gerund is the washing. That is the activity that she has completed. Now, let's quickly look at one more aspect before we move back to the concept of parallelism. There's another thing called participle. Now, what are these participles? And why are we studying them? We'll just answer. You'll get all the answers. See, participles are essentially two types, that is the present participle and the past participle. These are made up of verbs, but now once we classify them or use them as participle in the sentence, these no longer work like verbs. That's the criteria. Now see, They work like adjectives in a sentence. For example, we saw an interesting film. Now, the word interesting comprises of the word interest, which is a verb, and ing. But here, the main verb of the sentence is saw. How was the movie? Well, the movie was interesting. So, this is present participle. They reacted to the applauding crowd. Now, how did they react? They reacted to the crowd. I mean, how was the crowd? The crowd was applauding. The wounded man was taken to the hospital. Now, how was the man? The man was wounded. So, all the three words, interesting, applauding, and wounded, they tell us more about the nouns that they were attached to. That is the film, the crowd, and the man. The verbs in these three sentences were different altogether. These three words, interesting, applauding, and wounded, they only work like the adjectives in these sentences. All right. Now, the next one, throwing their hats into the air, the fans shouted cheerfully. Well, sometimes the participles are made up of phrases as well, but they still work like the adjectives in the sentence. Now, that was a bit about the gerund, participle, and infinitive. Now, let's go back to the concept of parallelism. Now, how does parallelism work in the sentence? Now, I've already told you we need parallelism to balance different parts of a sentence, different parts which are the same parts of speech in a sentence. Now, these are these should be phrased in similar structure or grammatical form in any sentence. For example, if the first element is an adjective, the succeeding element should also be an adjective in the sentence. Now let's understand this with the help of an example. Now this one says, hi Yashasva. So this one says, she's young. Now see, this is an adjective. Energetic, another adjective. Hello, happiness dreamer. And see, now how I've placed the sentence, how I've constructed the sentence, I'm saying she's young, which is an adjective, energetic, another adjective, and then I say she has talents. Now, do you really think we need this word has here? Now, see, what will happen if I remove the word has? The sentence or the structure will become parallel. That is what we are trying to understand here. So, correctly speaking, the sentence should have been she's young, energetic, and talented. So, to maintain a parallel structure, we don't need anything else between the similar structure of the sentence. It has to be the same. So, if it's adjective, 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 let's say it's a noun, 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 two, three, four, how many, howsoever are there. So, that's essentially what parallelism is all about. That's the most basic example. Let's look at one more example. Now, see, her duties were to answer the telephone, type letters, bookkeeping. Now, see, understand what structures will become parallel in this part. What were her duties? The duties were to answer the phone, to type the letters. And should we just say bookkeeping or to do bookkeeping? So, see, this is how we create a parallel structure. We put all the infinitives together now. The infinitives were the verbs that began with to, but they did not work like verbs anymore. That's what we've just discussed. So let's see, let's look at the parallel structure one more time. So this becomes her duties were to answer the phone. These are her duties. To type the letters and to do bookkeeping. That's what we call a parallel structure. Let's look at some more examples. No more examples. Let's just conclude what parallelism is all about. Well, essentially speaking, parallelism, or the basic rule of parallelism is that if you're using a noun, you have to use another noun in the sentence. You cannot use an adjective or any other part of speech. If at all you're using an adverb, the next, if at all you have to use a similar structure, has to be an adverb. It should not be any other part of speech. So the same goes with participle to participle, say infinitive with infinitive, gerund with gerund. If it's a phrase, there should be a parallel phrase in the same structure. Now let's look at some sentences. Now see, I have some faulty sentences for you to edit. Let's see what you do. So the sentence says the dogs in the first kennel are naughtier than kennel 2. Now, what do you think should be the correct parallel structure for this sentence? Would you like to try? Let's do it together. Now, see, what are we talking about here? The dogs in the first kennel are naughtier. Now, what is naughtier? The dog or the kennel? Because the second part of the sentence says that naughtier than kennel 2. Well, it's not the kennel who's naughtier than the first kennel. It's the dog in the first kennel that's naughtier than who? Well, the dogs in kennel 2. See, this is how it will work. Let me write it again. See, the dogs in the first kennel are naughtier than. The correct structure would be the dogs in kennel 2. Now, if you look at the sentence, what are we actually comparing? The dogs in kennel 1 with the dogs in kennel 2. See, now the structure is parallel. Now, if I remove this part, what was the sentence? The dogs in kennel 1 are naughtier than kennel 2. In this structure, we were actually comparing the two kennels and not the dogs. But here, when we put the word the dogs here, the structure becomes parallel. We are actually comparing the dogs of the first kennel to that of the dogs in the second kennel. All right. Now, there's another one. The music was moving and it inspired. Now, see, we are talking about we are talking about music here. How was it? Well, it was moving. So when you heard it, you were actually moved. And it inspired? Or how about I say inspiring, which means I've used gerunds, two gerunds. How was the music? It was moving and inspiring. The same structure, right? Well, yes, good Yashas. That's absolutely right. The third one now. He liked cooking, reading, and to watch movies. Let's see what you have to say about this one. He liked cooking, reading, and to watch movies. Now, these three, cooking, reading, and to watch movies, these are the three activities that he likes to do. Now, if the first two are cooking, that is an ing form, a gerund, reading, another gerund, should it be to watch movies, an infinitive, or should it be, okay, he like cooking, reading, and watching movies? Fantastic. Happiness dreamer. So that's how it should be. So this one will become watching movies, and that's our parallel structure. So we try to keep the similar structures together. Okay, there's another one. Um, she spoke unpleasantly, but conveying the information clearly and was humorous. Now, see, there are two parts in the sentence. One, she spoke unpleasantly. Now, how did she speak? One, she spoke, it's in past tense, right? And how was the tone? Very unpleasant. And conveying the information clearly and was humorous. Try and get the answer for this one. Let's see. Yes, Yashas, your answer is absolutely right. Great. The fifth one now. Focus on the similar structure. Focus on the parts that are same. Say if it's a verb, look at the next verb. If it's an adverb, look for the rest of the adverbs. How about we do this one together? Shall we? Now see, she spoke unpleasantly, but conveying. Now, if she spoke, that is simple past tense. Why would we use conveying? How about we say conveyed? She spoke unpleasantly, but conveyed the information, see, unpleasantly and clearly, and was humorous. See, if you're saying that her tone was unpleasant, I mean, putting it the way it was, so she spoke unpleasantly, conveyed the information clearly, and how about humorously? So she spoke unpleasantly, but the information that she gave, that she conveyed, again past tense, was given clearly and humorously. Oh, did I miss a one? Okay, fine. Now let's look at the fourth sentence. Yes, absolutely right. Happiness dreamer, your answer is right. Now let's look at the fourth part, which I missed earlier. My friend has a good job, great career, and how about trustworthy friends? See? So, great job, good job, great career, and trustworthy friends. So, what kind of structure we have? An adjective and a verb and a noun, adjective, adjective, noun. Similar, parallel structure. So, this one is yes, that's absolutely right, Yashasvi. Your answer is absolutely right. Now, the next one. Sakshi wants to feel loved, grown up, and having sense of responsibility. Now, what part do you think should be parallel here in this sentence? Try and figure out. Sakshi wants. Now, what does she want? She wants to feel loved, grown up, have sense of responsibility. What structure do you think we need here? Don't you think we need another adjective here? See, this one would be she wants to feel loved, grown up, and responsible. Parallel structure. Loved, grown up, responsible. Now, the next one. Jasmine generally either braids up her hair. No, yes, as well. No, that's not how it would work. See, we place parallel structures together. That is what parallelism is all about. That if it all the words that we have already are loved, grown up, we need a similar structure here. So we can kind of remove the extra words and get the just the right word that will make the structure parallel, right? Yes, that's absolutely right, happiness dreamer. Good going. Well, the next one, let's see how you go about this one. Jasmine generally braids her hair. You know how what is braiding? Interlacing the strands of hair or putting it up in a generic twist. So we're talking about Jasmine's choice of tying her hair. So she braids it sometimes, interlaces it, or putting it up in a generic twist. What would you say? Look at the parallel structure. Look at the word which you think is the same part of speech, and you will get the answer. See, Jasmine either braids her hair, so this is how she ties her hair, and putting it up. See, we don't need this ing here, or puts it up in a generic twist. So, if at all the verb is in simple present form, if the first part of the verb is in simple present form, the second part, yes, that's right, actually. That's absolutely right. So, she braids her hair or puts it up in a generic twist. That's how she ties her hair or does her hair. See, we looked for the parallel structure, the simple present form, and again the simple present form. That's what parallelism is all about. Okay. Now, the next one, this is another one for you to practice. Now, Nancy likes playing the piano, the trumpet, and play the guitar. Yes, that's right, Yashasva. Absolutely right. Very good. How about this one now? Nancy likes playing the piano. Now, see, look at the structures that are getting repeated. What part of speech is getting repeated? That's where you'll find the problem, and that's what you need to correct. Let's do it together. Now, see, she likes playing the piano, a noun, a trumpet, noun, and how about just the guitar? So she likes playing the piano, the trumpet, and the guitar. Now, the next one. The man told his children that they should get plenty of water, not to eat sugary snacks, and being sure that they are getting plenty of sleep. Now, see, now we are moving a level ahead. But then, if you understand the concept, look for the part of speech that is getting repeated. You'll get your answer. Yes, absolutely right. Good going. Now, the next one, the eighth one. So, the man told his children, what all did he tell them? See, that is the part that's getting repeated. He told them plenty of water, no sugary snacks, and getting plenty of sleep. These are the three things that he told his children, right? Now, see where the problem is. What structure do you think should be followed to make the sentence parallel? Well, let's do it together. See, he told his children. Now, when we give advice to somebody, there are two ways of going about it. One, we use the should form that you should say, stay away from this, or you should stay away from that. Or the other way of conveying the same idea is using an imperative. See, this is how this is done. So the man told his children to get plenty of water, not eat sugary snacks, and to ensure, or how about we just remove this entire part and say to get plenty of sleep. See, now look at the structure. Yes, absolutely right. Very good going, happiness dreamer. See, the man had told his children to get plenty of water, not to eat sugary snacks, and to get plenty of sleep. See, so we have used three infinitives to structure our sentence, and this is how a parallel sentence is structured. Isn't that amazing? Now, let's look at another example. She gets her daily exercise by running errands, walking her dog, and going. See, how does she get her daily exercise? So she's running errands, that's a gerund, walking her dog, another gerund, and going. See, a parallel structure just doesn't mean that I have all the three gerunds in place. The rest of the sentence has to be in order as well. So, yes, that's right. So she gets her daily exercise by running errands, walking her dog, and going, let's say, outside. So this is how we balance the structure in a sentence, right? Let's look at another example. Exercises that I enjoy are running. Now, what all exercises do I enjoy? Well, the first one is running. Second, to swim lens in pool. Now, if the first exercise, the name of the first activity is running, why would I use to swim lens in pool? How about swimming? Yes, that's right. So exercises that I enjoy are running, swimming lanes in pool. This one is fine. Riding my cycle, and you've already answered that correctly. Very good. Walking along the trails on the mountains. Let's look at the structure again. So what all enjoy exercises I enjoy? Now these are only the names of the activities that I enjoy. So running, swimming lanes in pool, riding the cycle, and walking along the trails in the mountains. See, this is how we structure a parallel sentence. Parallelism in a sentence. Now, there's another question where we will spot the error, but the idea is again to look for a parallel structure. So here we go. The first one being she dislikes cooking. Now, what all she does not like? Cooking, food, washing clothes, and to do household chores. Either the sentence is correct or it's not. You decide. Well, these are again the names of the activities that she dislikes. So she dislikes, imagine, she dislikes cooking. And probably she just likes eating, washing clothes. She just wants to wash clothes. She doesn't like washing them. And instead of saying to do household chores, how about doing household chores? The next one. Jack is not only an adroit orator, so See, we are the word not only and but also the correlative conjunction, they are used to join uh, the similar ideas. So we should know the moment we say not only and but also that the parallel structure is about to come. So yes, that's absolutely right. Good going, happiness dreamer. Jack is not only an adroit orator, so he's a very good orator. He's perfect in his public speaking skills, but also great at playing football. Now, see, this is where the structure dips. So, if he is a good orator, we don't need at playing football here. We need a similar structure, something that goes well with adroit orator. So, great. How about, see, adroit is an adjective and then we've placed a noun. How about we use the same structure here? So Jack is not only an adroit orator, but also great. How about football player? So great, adjective, and football player, noun. So that the sentence becomes parallel. So the next one now. Soumya wants to speak to the administrator, return the faulty products, and to get a refund. What's missing in this sentence? Just look at the sentence again. Most of the times, if you read the sentence in a flow, you will know that there is something missing in the sentence. Now let's see. What does she want to do? Let me just clear this. Yes. Soumya, see, what does she want? Well, she wants to speak to the administrator. She wants to return the faulty products and she wants to get a refund. So this is how we structure it. Well, the next one now. This one says, when one starts a quarrel, there is no guarantee that he will win and cause the opponent to yield. Now, this one is slightly tricky sentence. Let's look at it together. Yes, fine. That's really great. So this one, see, whenever we use the indefinite pronoun in the sentence, it should always be followed by the similar structure. That's really important. Now, the sentence says when one starts a quarrel, there is no guarantee that he will win or one will win. We've started the sentence with an indefinite pronoun, so it's only important or essential that the pronoun should be used in the same fashion. So if I have used an indefinite pronoun in the beginning of my sentence, it should only be followed by a pronoun in the same structure. That is, it should again be an indefinite pronoun. So when one starts a quarrel, there's no guarantee that one will win and cause the opponent to yield. That was the only problem in this structure. Well, the next one now. Some people cope up with anxiety by listening to music rather than deal with their emotions. Now, see, if you look at the sentence carefully or if you read the sentence aloud, you'll know where the problem lies. See, the question, the sentence talks about how people cope with anxiety. How do they cope with anxiety? Well, some listen to music. But then, how is the sentence structured? It says some people cope with anxiety by listening to music. So, how are they coping? By listening to music. Rather than, why would say deal with their emotions? We should say rather than dealing with their emotions. Now, see, look at the structure again. Um, So this one is some people cope with anxiety. How do they cope? By listening to music rather than dealing with their emotion, which is parallel to by listening to music. Understand? Now, there's another one. Yes, that's absolutely right, happiness dreamer. Good going. Yashas, I wish you answered as well. Well, there's another one. Let's see how we go about this one. Well, this says to swim is better than cycling. Now, what is the problem in this sentence? I'd rather have you answer this one for me. Then I'll give you the answer. Give it a shot. All right, Natasha. That's a good answer. See, There are two ways in which, yes, absolutely, happiness dreamer. Good answer, good going, I'd say. Now let's look at the structure. There are two ways of correcting this sentence. Now, the first way is see, because we are talking about two activities, two names, the names of two exercises here in this sentence. So I could have said swimming is better than cycling. So both the activities are in the gerund form, that is swimming and cycling. Or the other way of correcting this one is if I say to swim is better than to cycle. Now use two infinitives here. To swim is better than to cycle. Well, this is one way parallelism works in sentences, and it's really important that you understand how the structure works because all those of you who are planning to appear or take any of the entrance tests, when you're asked to spot the error, parallelism is one area where the sentence generally lacks. And generally speaking, it's not just about the exam that you're about to take, it's about how you speak. Like you have to speak correctly and you have to present your ideas correctly in written English, right? So, parallelism will not only help you get through your exam with flying colors, it'll also help you speak and write correct English. Well, that's all that I have to offer today. If you like the session, do mention that in the comment section below. And again, if you like the session, do subscribe us and hit the bell icon. Take care. See you. Bye bye.